Hi, my name is Johan Corsino, and this is Modern Brand Composition. I am a brand strategist for almost 10 years now, and in this series of videos, I'll basically be explaining what my approach to branding is, how do I see branding, and a little bit of what I do for my clients. I'm gonna go right into it. I don't like to beat around the bush. So, branding for me, the definition that I have of branding is the product, the feeling that people have when they encounter your product, right? We have to keep in mind that 85% of people make purchases based on emotion, not on anything else, not on financial capabilities, not on anything other than emotion. This is the number one driver of purchases. So, when understanding that, we see that these brands are very effective at embedding personalities or embedding certain triggers or certain things that make people want to buy, right? The reason why you choose certain brands over others could be many. It could be that inheritance, like maybe your family has been using it for years and you just picked it up yourself because you like it, or maybe they represent something that it's in line with you, your values, and where you believe, right? Or they're simply just good in your mind, right? Like you just think that this is a good brand. You don't even know why sometimes, right? So we choose brands based on how they make us feel. That's truly what it is, right? Like if you ask someone why they choose an iPhone instead of a Samsung, they can give you technical descriptions of things, but at the end of the day, it's just because I made them feel. So how do we embed this personality into brands? How do we make a brand make you feel something? This is what I do, right? In my opinion, it all stems from this right here, human nature. That's The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, a great author. A lot of the times I hear incredible amounts of technicalities and different things. In order to build a brand, you need to do this, and that. But I think it's actually way simpler than that. I just think that we tend to forget that we are dealing with people and we want to create this persona and this, big thing, with all this technical stuff and have the best of everything. But at the end of the day, no one really cares about that much. We are simply dealing with people. So what you need to do is understand the humans that you serve. You need to understand them, understand the behavior, understand their human nature so that you can serve them better than your competition. So the modern brand composition, it's kind of like deconstructing how brands are being built today. I feel like they are built different than 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And there's a variety of elements that I will go into explaining briefly in this video. I will make more in-depth videos about all the different elements, but the elements that I'm about to describe, they encompass everything that a modern brand should be keeping in mind when constructing themselves or when structuring themselves. Okay, so when it comes to the elements, these are the elements that I utilize in my brand strategy. My brand strategy is called Human Sync. That's what we do. We aim to align you with the humans that you serve. We align you with the human nature of the people that you serve, so you guys can be in sync. So these are the elements. Human nature, number one. Customer avatar report, or Tenets. Cultural alignment, customer experience, community building, social media strategy, because that's where brands are built. Shout out to the great Gary Vee for that. Marketing execution, and then as an add-on, just visuals and other things. So human nature, it's the first one for me because this is truly where we get most of our information, right? If you do not know who you're serving, then we're not really doing much here. The reason why human nature is the first is because we analyze consumer behavior. We align the brand with the key human instincts, depending on whatever state the people that you serve are in, and it just allows you to truly be humble and put yourself in your customer's shoes, right? If you actually take a little bit of time and you have openness and you have a little bit of openness in order for you to put yourself in your customer's shoes and think about not only what the customer experience is, but the product and your true needs are, then you do get a better picture most times as to what are you or what should your work be like, right? So customer avatar report sounds fancy, is not. This is a more in-depth analysis as to who our customers are, more with demographics, a little bit maybe more statistics, but just truly getting an understanding of what are the aspirations, their dreams, their desires, their fears, right? Let's say, for example, you own a talent agency, right? And in thinking how to go about your strategy as a talent agency, you have to really put yourself in your shoes of the talent, right? Let's say if I'm a upcoming actor and I'm looking to sign with, I don't know, a couple of these different agencies. Most times, if you go to these agencies pages, all you see is we represent this person and we just signed this one, we signed the other one, and that goes the same for both artistic or athletes, right? And what kind of value is that bringing me? I honestly, if I'm a 16, 17-year-old kid or an upcoming actor or whatever the case is, I don't really care who you sign. I mean, I kind of do, but that's not really doing anything for me. I want to know what will you do for me in order to ensure that I will have a successful career by signing with you, right? So if I'm an athlete, right, and I'm looking to sign with different agencies, I have agencies that, again, all they do is post about who they have and they just sign this person and the other. Okay, that's fine. Now I have an agency that is showing me how to eat. They're educating myself on the business side of things. They are teaching me how to go about my fitness, how to go about my mental fitness as well, because we know that as athletes, the mental game is a huge part. So they're providing me with valuable information that I need in order to be able to have a successful career and perhaps achieve longevity, but have a successful career in all aspects, right? The nutrition aspect, the fitness aspect, the business aspect of things. So how are we providing value? Are we identifying the true needs of the people that we serve, or are we just throwing shit and hoping that it sticks? That doesn't really work today, not for modern brands. Modern brands have to be a little bit more analytical, a bit more conscientious, a little bit more willing to go above and beyond to truly understand what the customer needs are. So that's really what we do, the customer avatar report. And again, we also get demographics, right? So like, if you have a talent agency, then perhaps it's, I don't know, 15 to 25 and like a certain sport, whatever the case is. Now, tenets. So tenets are essentially like the foundation, the 4 pillars of the brand, right? And how we communicate to humans. So first we have our mission, then we have our image, then we have our tone, and then we have our feel. So mission, it's our statement, right? The things that gives us direction. This is our purpose. This is what we do. This is what we are setting out to accomplish. Our image is, obviously, we have to tailor it so it can resonate with whatever the audience is that we are aiming to serve. Let's say, for example, that, I don't know, you like hip hop music and you go to a rock and roll bar, right, where everyone is dressed like, I don't know, rock and roll-ish, whatever, if that makes any sense, and you go there with your baggy jeans or whatever the case is, you're gonna be totally out of place, right? So we have to make sure that we tailor our look when we're building our social strategy so that it resonates with the people within that niche. Tone, same thing. We have to communicate accordingly, right? I cannot communicate to a soccer fan in NBA terms. He's not going to understand what I'm saying. I have to figure out a way how to communicate in soccer terms so they can understand what I'm saying. Or I cannot speak to a Spanish-speaking audience in English because they're not going to understand crap of what I'm saying. So I have to adjust my message so they can understand it. So in whatever way that you have to adjust your tone in order to resonate with your audience, that's also one of the things that we go through. Now, deeper into the tone, which is something that I'll do in another video, there are different levels and different degrees, right? So let's say, for example, you are a fine dining restaurant. For the most part, fine dining restaurants have a very minimalistic, elegant, sophisticated approach to their tone, to how they speak, to how they sound, right, to the words that they use. But if you are a local restaurant, right, and you don't have that pressure, perhaps, right, and you maybe cater to more of a Gen Z audience, right, and you have this freedom where you could be a little bit more bold in your message, and you could, I don't know, post memes at that or whatever the case is. So you have to find out what will work for both your audience and for the image that you are trying to set up for yourself as well. And then the feel. I know this is gonna sound a little bit woo, but the feel is essentially that it's like the sixth sense, right? It's like that thing that we don't truly understand what it is, but that draw us closer to brands. Like there's Apple, Nike, they have done this masterfully, right? Like catering to a certain particular feel, Nike to that particular feel of just doing it, of that victory, of that relentless, of that drive that it takes in order to become an excellent athlete. Apple, they even done that. They even gone as far to the field with their tangibles, right? So, for example, in the box that the laptop comes or the iPhone comes in, they made it so it slides off in a certain particular way. I read something about this. I don't know if it's true or not, but they made it purposely so you get some sort of satisfaction that is just unboxing the product, right? So that's how far they go in order to make sure that they embed a certain feel into their brain, not only psychologically but also physically with the tangible aspects of the brand and the things that they sell. Quick water break. So the next one is cultural alignment. Cultural alignment serves two different purposes. Serves for internal direction, for the internal teams of the company to have direction, to say, okay guys, this is our culture, this is what we believe in, we are moving in this way, this is what we represent, right? So the external part is creating a cult, creating a culture as well, right? That people can look and see, oh, that's cool. I like that, right? I'm trying to think of an example that I can give you of good cultural alignment, but I have a very good example coming up in community, so maybe I'll leave it for that example. But essentially, if the people that are working within the company don't really have, if there's really no culture there, if there's really no sense of direction as to like, hey guys, this is what we represent. Let's go back to the talent agency example. We represent trustworthiness. We want to ensure that you have a long, successful career, and we're gonna make sure that your nutrition, your education, your fitness, your mental fitness is taken care of to the best of our ability, so that you can become the best athlete that you can possibly be. This is our culture. This is what we do, right? So that's an example, right, as to how you can create a culture for both your teams internally, so everybody moves in the same direction, and also externally, so people can see something, understand it, and see if that resonates with them, and if they can feel represented as well. Okay. Customer experience. Customer experience is a direct representation of your brand. It's as simple as that. Your customer experience is the direct representation of your brand. If the customer experience is not good, in the minds of people, your brand is automatically no good. It's as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that. So most times, I'm not really a digital marketing guy, I'm a branding guy, but I have my partners that they're into digital marketing, paid media, and all these other aspects of marketing. And one of the common things that they always hear from potential clients is, I want more leads, I want more leads, I want more customers, I need to get more people through the door, I need more sales, this and that. But the customer experience is fucked. The customer experience is completely fucked. So I can get you 1 million leads, but your customer experience is fucked. So you're gonna get 1 million bad reviews because your customer experience is fucked. So until the customer experience isn't refined to the point where, let's say, at least 80% of your customers have a satisfying experience of consuming your product, then we're not really doing anything here. The customer experience is, if anything, the most important aspect of all of these things, and it is a direct representation of your brand. I don't care if you're making a lot of money, if you're making little money, if the customer experience sucks, then you don't have a good brand. So you have to think about what your customer experience looks like from A to Z, from before they consume your product to when they are consuming your product, until after they're done consuming your product. This starts before they actually come in contact with your product. This starts when they start seeing you on Google, on your social media, on YouTube, on the things you put out, on how people speak about you, on your testimonials and reviews that you may have. So you really have to sit down and think about this. You cannot pretend to want 100 leads per day while your customer experience sucks. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, and it is going to damage your brand more in the long run if you decide to go about it that way. So customer experience, very, very, very important. We will make a video solely on this so we can explain it further. Then community building. This is one of my favorites. Water break. Fantastic. So, community building. This is a key element of modern brand composition. And in the Human Sync program, we explain this in detail. So, I will give you an example of community building. The shoe brand Hoka. I've done a research on them lately. I've been watching the YouTube videos like from when they first started, and it's unbelievable. It's amazing what they have been able to do. And if you're not familiar with Hoka, I think it was 2023, if I'm not mistaken, they took 1.5 or 6 billion in market share from Nike and Adidas, which, yes, Nike and Adidas did 50 and 22, whatever, but this is a lot, right? And they have been able to grow incredibly fast, but in a very organic way as well. And I honestly love what they're doing. So they created the product, right? They created their shoe. They identified a problem with runners, and it's that when you run for extended periods of time, obviously, so much running and your legs absorb all the shocks from when your foot hits the ground, right? From when you're running. And if you don't have the appropriate shoe, then obviously those shocks, feel heavier in your leg. So they noticed that particular problem, and they thought, okay, so we're going to create this product, and we're going to put a midsole, which is something that apparently didn't exist before. I don't know. So they created the product, the new shoe, keeping in mind this particular problem of the shocks and how can we absorb those shocks a little better. They sent them to real runners, no amateurs, like people that really run, right? So they sent them to this one like former marathon runner, just send them off to them and say, hey, this is our new product. We would love to get some feedback from you. We know that you are a real runner, a real person with the community that, could give us the feedback that we need. Perfect. They sent them the shoes. The guy loved the shoes. Also sent some feedback as to what could potentially be better. Hoka received the feedback, received the shoes again, remade the shoes according to the feedback that he gave them, sent the shoes back. He tried them on. He absolutely loved it. And then what happened was he happened to also have a sporting a store where they sell like sporting stuff. So he ordered like 150 pairs so he could sell them at the store, and he started selling them to more real runners, and they were able to start building this community of people that loved the product because the brand was kind enough to listen to their feedback and adjust their product so they can serve them better. So this is what I was telling you before about human nature. They understood that they needed to synchronize themselves with the human nature of the people that they served. That is exactly what they did. They identified the problem, made the product, sent it out to real people within the community, got the feedback, adjusted the product to the feedback, sent it back again, and it is now a success. And is one of the most renowned brands in the running community. So this is what they're still doing to this day. They're building communities at massive scales. Obviously, they're a huge company now, but this is what building a community can do for you. And this is why this is one of the key elements of modern brand composition, which, again, it's part of the Human Sync program here at Branding Group and World Class Concepts. Social media strategy. Okay, now that we understand the human nature, we have the customer avatar report, so we know exactly who we're serving. We have our tenets clear, our mission, our image, our tone, our feel. We understand how we want to proceed. We are aligned culturally. We have our customer experience refined. We know how to build a community and how to start building it and how to get feedback and how to adjust our products so they can serve the humans that we serve better. Now we can proceed into the social media strategy. Why social media? Again, like the great Gary Vee said, social media is where brands are built. So it's as simple as that, honestly. I could go on more about this, but again, Gary Vee said it best. Social media is where brands are built. So, keeping in mind everything that we studied about our customer, now we understand what their true needs are. So what we need to do is, keeping in mind those needs, desires, fears, aspirations, and all of these things about our potential clients, our audience, now we create a content strategy that provides value to those aspirations, desires, needs, fears, and the answers those questions for them without them having to ask. You just provide the value, you give value, okay? And we do it in segments. So for example, let's say the news, right? The news, they work in segments. They're not unorganized. They have the weather, finance, sports, I don't know, gossip, whatever that is, but they have segments in place, right? So all they have to do is find out what the weather is, find out the latest news on sports, find out the latest news on finance, find out the latest news on politics, and feed those channels. It's very simple, very easy. So if I am a restaurant per se, right, then I know I need food and drinks. I know I need pictures of the ambience. I know I need the new menu that I'm dropping. I know I need I don't know, a special influencer that came by, or I'm showcasing my staff, or I'm showcasing the venue, whatever the case is. You create these segments for yourself. That way you know what kind of content you need to create. And then when you set up your content days, you take a whole day to create content based on those segments. So I know I need pictures and videos of the bartenders making drinks. I need pictures and videos of the chef making the food. I need pictures and videos of the place when it's empty. I need pictures and videos of the place when it's packed. I need to create fun short reels. I need to create content with the staff because I already know my segments. So then I take the content date, I create content around all of my segments, then I schedule it, and sooner than later you have 90 to 100 pieces of content that you can schedule, which translates into a month and a half worth of content that you can just program schedule automatically, so it can post on its own and you don't have to worry about it. You understand? So you have to think about all of this strategically, but we didn't get to the social media strategy until we did our previous analysis. And then the last thing we will go, yes, to marketing execution. Are we going to run ads? YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever the case is, and then we create a comprehensive plan for that. And then the last part, yes, is the visuals and the logos and the websites and the font and the colors and all the other bullshit that people like to start with first that doesn't fucking matter at all. All right? So after we've done all of that, as a possible add-on, yes, we can also help you create a new visual identity for you, new logos, new colors, new pretty much everything, right? But this is the last thing that we care about. The first thing that we care about is the human nature of the people that you serve, all right? So, Human Sync, our branded group, world-class concepts, this is what we do. We provide clear direction internally and externally to the internal teams and externally to the audience. We solidify foundational values, standards, and the mission through our tenets. We refine the customer experience for a competitive edge and increase satisfaction. We build community. We delineate the social strategy, because this is where brands are built, and then we execute comprehensive marketing to drive revenue and awareness. That's what we do. So, our branding group and world-class concepts, we synchronize your brand with the human nature of the people that you serve. I'll see you guys on the next video where we're breaking down each element individually. So I hope to see you there. This is Johan with World Class Concepts.